You think Gumball's just a loud-mouthed cartoon cat. That's the surface. Beneath the jokes is a character unraveling. His world doesn't work right. Time resets, reality glitches. Nothing makes sense, and nobody else seems to notice. But Gumball does. And once he starts asking questions, the show can't hide anymore.
First rule of dumb is that dumb people don't take notes.
Don't take notes.
At first glance, Gumball Watterson seems like your average chaotic cartoon protagonist. A snarky blue cat who's too loud for his own good and constantly dragging his goldfish brother Darwin into ridiculous schemes.
Hey, stop! I'm sorry, I shouldn't have told you to be someone else! I was wrong! But other people's lives are so much more exciting!
He lives in the town of Elmore, where even background characters look like they were pulled from a fever dream. A talking balloon, a giant T-Rex, a sentient peanut with antlers. This place is a mess, and Gumball fits right in. But here's the thing, even from the very first episode, Gumball's world doesn't work like a normal cartoon, and he knows it.
So everything's okay between you and Tina?
Yep. Everything's just fine.
In Season 1, Gumball's life is mostly grounded in sitcom chaos. He wrecks the house while babysitting his sister Aeneas, then blames the internet to dodge consequences.
Oh, how do you feel, Darwin?
Pretty responsible. And you?
I feel like a new man. A responsible man.
I can't believe this.
He destroys a rental DVD and tries to fix it by filming his own terrible remake, complete with cardboard alligators and homemade sound effects. These are funny, creative, and wild, but they also reveal something deeper.
They'll corrupt their minds! Bad commercial! Bad commercial! Bad commercial!
Are you completely out of your mind?
There's too much violence on TV anyway!
Gumball rarely learns anything. He's not an everyman. He's a kid who keeps screwing up, but the world around him resets every time. It's like nothing ever sticks. Nicole screams, Richard lazes around, Aeneas lectures him, and then they all do it again next week. Gumball starts to notice that too. Even his relationships are weird. With Darwin, there's loyalty and love, but also hints of manipulation. Gumball often uses Darwin to get out of trouble or validate his ego.
Oh! What are we gonna do? Face the consequences of our actions and tell Mom?
Don't be silly. I've got a much better idea.
With Penny, his awkward middle school crush, the show never commits. Their romance goes in circles for years before anything real happens. Gumball even fights for her affection with an alternate version of himself.
You shall.
But maybe you wouldn't like the real me.
There's no way that could be true. Whatever is inside, we can deal with it together.
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 More on that later. But these early episodes still cling to a familiar structure. Gumball gets in trouble, causes chaos, kind of fixes things, and then resets. He's immature, but you can chalk it up to him being a kid. Still, there's a nagging sense that this world isn't just quirky, it's unstable. And Gumball is the only one who seems to feel it. Take his relationship with Rob, for example. Rob starts out as a background character, literally forgotten by everyone, including Gumball. When he finally emerges as a villain, he's furious that Gumball lives in a world where nothing matters, and where he, the forgotten, was erased from existence.
I will destroy ye and everyone ye love.
Sounds like a cat being strangled by another cat who's also being strangled.
But even back in Season 1, Gumball's selective memory and self-centered perspective already hinted at this deeper flaw. It's all played for laughs until it isn't. Because once the cartoon logic breaks too many times, Gumball can't pretend it's just a gag anymore. He begins to question the rules, the people, even himself. And that's when his story really begins. The amazing world of Gumball never had a big turning point. It drifted into madness. One bizarre, offbeat episode at a time, Gumball's reality stopped feeling like a cartoon and started feeling like a trap. And the scariest part? Gumball notices, but everyone else just plays along. Early on, things are weird but manageable. Gumball gets possessed by a ghost who hijacks his body just to taste food again. That ghost is Carrie, and while it's played for laughs, the setup is disturbingly invasive. Gumball says no, and she does it anyway. The episode ends with Gumball's body being used by someone else, while his voice begs for help from inside. That's not just comedy, that's existential horror.
I can breathe. I can feel. I can't eat.
Then comes the mirror. One day, Gumball meets a version of himself, literally trapped inside a mirror. This other Gumball is friendlier, more cooperative, and maybe even better. At first, Gumball mocks him, then he gets jealous, then he gets scared. The mirror version escapes into Gumball's world and starts taking over his life. Nobody else thinks this is a problem. Only Gumball sees how insane it is. Moments like these aren't isolated. They're signs.
What is going on here? What is going on here?
The rules of Elmore start breaking in front of Gumball's eyes, and he's the only one trying to keep track. And real quick, if you're loving this story so far, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe for more deep cartoon breakdowns, and let me know in the comments, when do you think Gumball first realized his world was broken? I'm reading through every theory, so drop yours below. And then there's the glitching. In The Signal, Gumball begins to break, literally. Every time he interacts with Darwin, he starts to glitch out like a corrupted video game. Split screens, freeze frames, human eyes on cartoon faces, even the background characters and electronics around him start to glitch. This isn't just a visual gag, it's a crisis. Gumball's perception of reality is failing, and he's powerless to stop it. At one point, he writes Darwin a heartfelt apology letter, but the glitch corrupts the message before Darwin can read it. It goes from sincere to cruel in an instant, and Gumball can't control it.
Yeah, I can't see anything! Aha! What the?
That's when it becomes clear this world can't be trusted. Even his most honest intentions can get rewritten by whatever force controls the show. But here's the genius and the tragedy. Gumball doesn't fall apart. Not yet. He adapts. He starts playing along. When the show resets, he doesn't ask why. When his choices get undone, he doesn't complain. He jokes, he shrugs. He gets more reckless because deep down he's starting to believe nothing matters. And that's what makes him dangerous. By the time Rob begins to emerge as the series' Dark Mirror, Gumball's already been through emotional whiplash most cartoon characters would never survive. He's lost his identity, his control, and any sense of a stable reality. But because he's Gumball, he just keeps smiling through it. It's not just meta for meta's sake. The show uses its broken world to break Gumball.
Gotcha! No!
It seems you've run out of luck.
Not quite!
And fingers.
Every episode becomes a subtle assault on his sense of self. Think about it. Gumball's entire personality is built around being the main character. But when side characters glitch out, or when he meets another Gumball, or when his world literally freezes, what does that mean for him? If he's not in control, if he's not even real, what is he? And more importantly, how long can he pretend to be okay? Because as the show gets stranger, Gumball doesn't get stronger. He gets quieter. The loudmouth we met in Season 1 is slowly becoming something else. Self-aware, scared, and way too good at hiding it.
Birthday party? Oh, you came!
This is where Gumball really starts to break. Not physically, but psychologically. The more he learns about his world, the less he trusts it. And worse, the less he trusts himself. At this point, Gumball's not just reacting to chaos, he's trying to figure out who he is inside of it. But the show doesn't give him a straight answer. Instead, it twists him. One episode, he's a hero. The next, he's the villain. He's selfish, then selfless. Smart, then a total idiot. Over time, you realize the show doesn't write Gumball consistently, and he knows it.
And then poison the water. Two really good plans. One is great, the other one's really good. There's no way to choose between them.
Take the copycats. Gumball meets a pair of knockoff versions of himself and Darwin. These bootleg copies mimic everything they do, badly. Gumball's first instinct is to mock them, but then he sees something terrifying. These cheap imitations are gaining attention, recognition, purpose. The thing Gumball's been chasing since Season 1, and they're getting it by pretending to be him. That's when it hits. What if he's the copy? The question isn't, who am I? Anymore. It's, was I ever real? This leads into one of Gumball's most subtle but devastating transformations.
Dagnabbit! We'll never get rid of him! Dagnabbit! We'll never get rid of him!
Wait a minute. They copy literally everything.
His relationship with the audience. Gumball always talked to the viewer, winked at the camera, even paused scenes like he was in control. But around season 4 and onward, that confidence fades. The fourth wall doesn't protect him anymore, it's closing in on him. In The Disaster, Rob, once a forgotten background character, returns as Gumball's greatest threat. But he doesn't attack him with weapons. He attacks him with truth. Rob accuses Gumball of hogging the spotlight, of leaving everyone else in the dust, of acting like the universe revolves around him.
Weren't you? Everyone you love.
And the thing is, Gumball can't deny it. He wants to be the center, he wants control. And that's exactly why the universe is falling apart. He even rewinds time, literally, to undo the damage Rob causes. Gumball, once a chaotic pawn in someone else's game, becomes the manipulator. And it doesn't make him feel better, it makes him feel worse. Because even when he gets his way, nothing sticks. His victories get erased. His relationships reset. He tells himself he's the hero, but no one else seems to remember what he's done. Even Penny, the girl he finally confesses his love to, becomes a background element in his story after their big moment. That's what breaks him. Gumball starts using humor as a shield. Sarcasm, exaggeration, violence, chaos. He throws it all at the screen, hoping no one notices he's spiraling. And to be fair, most people don't. The show never turns into a drama. The music stays upbeat. The jokes keep rolling.
You better or savory snacks for the elders.
What? No.
Then be gone.
But if you look closely, Gumball's laughter gets more bitter, more performative. He's not playing a character anymore. He's being played by one. Even his name becomes a punchline. The Amazing World of Gumball. Amazing for who? Not him.
Well, I'm the president, and you have to do what I say.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, sir.
Now, go and get the stinkiest thing you can find in the house.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, sir.
He's the only one asking questions. The only one who remembers past episodes. The only one who realizes his friends, his town, his life. None of it changes unless it's funny. And it's not funny anymore. You want the clearest sign of his breakdown? Look at how he starts treating Darwin. In the beginning, Darwin is his moral compass, his conscience, his brother. But as Gumball spirals, he starts using Darwin like a tool, manipulating him emotionally, making him the fall guy, dragging him into increasingly unethical schemes. It's not just character drift, it's projection. Gumball's losing control of himself, so he controls Darwin instead. And Darwin lets him, because this world doesn't run on logic, it runs on comedy. And in comedy, nothing matters.
I just had the most awesome date with Penny, and he was the perfect wingman.
Dude, I'm trying to give you the silent treatment, but it doesn't work if you don't notice.
Just try it.
Not trauma, not continuity, not consequence. Gumball is starting to live by those rules even though they're slowly erasing him. That's the paradox. The more self-aware Gumball becomes, the more powerless he feels. He's the main character in a world that forgets him every week. He's the smartest person in the room, but no one's listening. He sees the code, but he can't change it. So he leans into the absurdity. He makes bigger jokes, takes bigger risks, gets louder, weirder, more unhinged. But all of it is just to avoid the truth. Gumball doesn't know who he is anymore. And worse, he's starting to realize he never did. Rob is the glitch in Gumball's matrix. He's not just a villain, he's a living consequence.
And everyone you love.
A background character who became self-aware, then got discarded. And when he finally claws his way back into the spotlight, he's not trying to take over the world. He's trying to take it back. From Gumball, originally Rob is just some guy.
I am your nemesis.
A faceless extra in the Elmore crowd. But in season 2, something happens. He falls into a void. Literally, the show deletes him. When he returns in season 3, his body is warped, pixelated, barely held together. He doesn't remember who he is.
Did you just call me rich like it was a question?
Did I say rich? I'm sorry, dude. I meant to...
Nobody else does either, not even Gumball. And that's where the hatred starts. Imagine that. You live in a town where nothing makes sense. You lose your name, your face, your place in the story. You escape the void, come back home, and the main character doesn't even recognize you. Rob becomes obsessed with Gumball, not out of jealousy, but desperation.
Your worst nightmare. I will destroy everything you care about.
He sees Gumball for what he really is, the chosen one, the fixed point, the reason Elmore resets every episode no matter how bad things get. To Rob, Gumball is the embodiment of a rigged system, and he's right. By season 5, Rob isn't just angry, he's plotting.
Do I have? All I've got on my resume is...
And in The Disaster, he finally snaps. The episode begins like any other. Gumball being his usual chaotic self. But then the glitches start. The rules stop working, Gumball's family disappears. Time skips forward, then backward. It's all collapsing, and behind it all is Rob. He doesn't want to hurt Gumball physically. He wants to unmake him. Rob traps Gumball in a frozen, broken version of Elmore where nothing moves unless Gumball forces it to. It's a metaphor for the entire show. Gumball is the only one who changes, who remembers, who questions. Everyone else is just set dressing. Rob's goal is simple: make Gumball feel what it's like to be irrelevant.
I will destroy you and everyone you love.
And it works. For once, Gumball doesn't laugh it off. He begs, he panics, he loses. This isn't like the glitches in The Signal or the copycat jokes. Rob's attack is personal. It's targeted at Gumball's greatest fear, that he's not real, not special, not loved. Just a cartoon character whose only purpose is to entertain. In a moment of sheer desperation, Gumball does something terrifying. He rewinds the show. He literally resets the episode, goes back in time and rewrites events so he can beat Rob and fix everything. The music swells. The jokes resume. Everything's back to normal. But if you've been watching closely, you know it's not. Gumball didn't win. He cheated. He broke the show harder than Rob ever did, and no one called him out on it. Not even Rob, who now exists as a half-crazed, half-erased anomaly, more broken than ever. He goes from a calculating threat to a glitching, screaming mess. He's not a villain anymore, he's a warning. From this point on, Gumball's story spirals into existential dread disguised as slapstick. Rob starts warning everyone that the world is ending, that Elmore isn't stable, that Gumball is the problem. No one listens. They laugh. The audience laughs. But Gumball hears it. He hears everything, and instead of fixing the show's flaws, he adapts to them. He stops fighting the resets. He starts using them. He rewinds reality when things go wrong. He breaks the fourth wall to skip ahead. He talks directly to the editors, the animators, even the genre. He becomes the master of a collapsing universe, and that power eats away at him. The more control Gumball gains, the less he understands who he's supposed to be. In The Puppets, he and Darwin get literally rewritten into an entirely different art style. In The Box, they get trapped in a minimalist void. In the future, Banana Joe has a vision of Gumball becoming a world-ending tyrant. It's all a joke, but Gumball never laughs the same way again. By the time the Inquisition hits, the mask fully drops. Rob, now fully deranged, returns with a plan to shut Elmore down once and for all. He knows the truth. They're all TV characters. He tries to force everyone into conformity.
Cartoonish conduct. From here on, any abnormal behavior is to be corrected.
Putting them in generic school uniforms and removing their personalities. His goal? To kill the show's identity before it collapses on its own.
The transformation is almost complete.
Almost?
And what does Gumball do? He fights back, but not with logic, not with emotion. He uses comedy. He makes a scene so absurd, so self-aware that the world short-circuits around him. It's a final stand, not just against Rob, but against the truth Rob represents. Gumball refuses to fade into the background, but even in winning, he loses. The final moments are chilling. The school glitches, characters vanish. Gumball and Darwin laugh, awkwardly, nervously, because it's the only thing they can do. Their reality is broken. Rob falls into the void again, screaming that he'll be back, but he never is. Because this time, the show ends. No finale, no answers, just silence. And Gumball, still smiling. By now, Gumball's not just self-aware, he's self-destructing. He knows the world isn't real. He knows the reset button gets hit every time something meaningful happens. He knows his story, his emotions, his entire life exists only to entertain an audience that never speaks back.
Who could answer such a question?
Well, nobody here. We better ask around.
And the scariest part? He can't stop playing along. After Rob disappears into the void for the final time, Gumball doesn't react the way a hero would. He doesn't cry. He doesn't reflect. He doesn't fight to bring him back. He just moves on, like everyone else. Like nothing ever happened. But internally, he's cracked. You can see it in how he deals with small conflicts. He doesn't solve them. He bends reality around them.
I hate myself. Can't you do it? You're the one with the car.
In The Copycats, he tries to erase imitation versions of himself by mocking them until they give up.
But when someone says hi, you say hi too!
In the console, he enters a video game world and casually jumps timelines.
I've trapped us inside a video game. Awesome!
In the night, we literally enter his dreams and see a version of Elmore where everyone is subtly wrong, like he's testing what his world might look like if he rewrote it from scratch. He's not just reacting anymore, he's experimenting. But what he's really doing is searching for control. Gumball wants something, anything in his world to stay the same.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Why is it gone quiet?
To feel real, and every time he thinks he's found it, the show pulls it away. Take Penny. She was his long-standing love interest, a peanut with antlers who slowly opened up, literally, into a glowing, shape-shifting form.
What the what? You look...
When Gumball finally confesses his feelings, it's a huge moment. Emotional, vulnerable, and then the relationship goes nowhere.
Impossible to live without. But it really hurt my eyes to look at you directly.
Penny fades into the background. They never break up, but they never move forward. It's like the story refuses to let Gumball grow, or look at Darwin. At first, Darwin is his moral compass, his emotional tether. But by the final season, Gumball uses him more like a prop, not out of cruelty, but because he's trying to keep something familiar, something that doesn't glitch or reset or abandon him. Darwin is the one person who always plays along, and that makes him the most dangerous character in Gumball's world. Not because he's evil, but because he enables Gumball's collapse. Even Gumball's family becomes part of the problem. Nicole, the once loving but intense mother, becomes increasingly volatile. Richard becomes more hollow. Aeneas, once a child genius, starts acting like just another quirky side character.
But most importantly, call an adult or the emergency services.
Well, yeah, of course.
Gumball watches all of this happen, and instead of stopping it, he adapts. He lets the people he loves become tropes because at least tropes are consistent. It's all survival. And then there's the future. In this episode, Banana Joe is given the ability to see what's coming next. He sees Gumball, older, darker, destructive. He warns the others that Gumball will eventually become something terrifying.
Barbara.
Bambra.
Barbara.
Spell it.
Barabarabarababa.
Oh, Barbara.
But again, it's a joke. Everyone laughs, even Gumball brushes it off. But the imagery doesn't go away. A future Gumball, cold, calculating, with reality warping powers, lingers in the background. That version isn't just a possible future. It's a metaphor for what Gumball's becoming. He's no longer the victim of a broken world. He's becoming its architect, and he hates it. In The Brain, Gumball tries to prove he's not a narcissist by being generous. But he can't do it. Every selfless act becomes selfish the second he realizes he's being watched. He needs the approval, the reaction, the applause. He's addicted to being the main character, and the show rewards him for it. That's the trap. Even the show's aesthetic begins to warp around him.
There's no way they'll understand. What is it anyway? You've already demoted me to kindergarten. Where next? My mom's belly?
The animation style becomes more chaotic, shifting between stop motion, puppetry, 3D, 8-bit, live action, all within a single episode sometimes. The show is glitching with him, mirroring his instability. His story is literally falling apart at the seams, and the show lets it happen. Because at the end of the day, Gumball isn't a character anymore. He's a symbol. He represents what happens when a fictional world gives someone all the power, without the tools to understand it. He can change reality, but he can't process loss. He can rewind time, but he can't fix relationships. He can bend logic, but he can't escape the void inside him. The more self-aware he becomes, the less human he feels. And the show ends with him like that. No closure, no redemption arc, no real goodbye. The final scene is a haunting paradox. Gumball is back in his usual setting, surrounded by friends and family, smiling, laughing, like nothing ever happened. But you know what he knows now. You've seen the glitches, the rewinds, the erased characters, the existential dread hiding under every joke. And so has he. His laughter at the end? It's not joy, it's acceptance. Acceptance that this is all he'll ever be. A loop, a glitch, a joke that got too smart for its own good. And somewhere deep down, Gumball Watterson, the loud, reckless, brilliant kid who just wanted to be noticed, finally understands the truth. He was never meant to be real. Gumball's story is wild, but his legacy? Even crazier. Some fans love him, others can't stand him. So if you want to see how Gumball stacks up against the rest of Elmore, go watch the most loved versus most hated Gumball characters. You'll be shocked who ends up where.